Hey, what's up guys? Steve from Cult of Mac here, and the 10.5-inch iPad Pro that was announced at last week's WWDC has finally been released. So in this video, I'm going to unbox it and show you everything to expect if you pick one of these up. So let's get started. And here it is, the 10.5-inch iPad Pro. You can already see how small those bezels are. On the sides of the box is the usual iPad Pro text, and on the top and bottoms there's the Apple logos. On the front, there's a great product photo where you can see just how large that screen is, and on the back you can see that I've got the 64GB Wi-Fi version in space grey. So let's open it up. Just take off the cellophane. And if we can shake this out, okay, let's put this to one side and take a look at what else is inside the box. Okay, so we've got the usual Lightning to USB cable. Then on top we've got the standard little white folder, and in here there's a quick start guide, warranty information and Apple stickers. So no fold out book this time. And finally, underneath that there's the UK power adapters. So everything's pretty standard in the box. So let's take a look at the iPad itself. Just take off the plastic cover. At first glance, it just looks like a slightly larger version of the 9.7-inch iPad Pro. Obviously, because I've got the black version, it's hard to see how small those bezels are. If we flip it over to the back, we can see the new iSight camera. It's the same megapixel count as the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, coming in at 12 megapixels, but it now has an f-stop of 1.8 to let in more light, as well as the quad LED flash, meaning low light photography will be a whole lot better. On the left hand side, there's the smart connector for connecting keyboards and such, and surprisingly on top, we've still got that 3.5mm headphone jack. I really wasn't sure if Apple would get rid of that this year, but no, it's still here. So let's power it on so we can see the screen in action. And I'll quickly go through the setup. Let's jump all of this. And here it is. The screen has a resolution of 1668 by 2224, which translates to, I think, 265 pixels per inch, so it's pretty much the same resolution as the 9.7-inch Pro, and you can see just how small those bezels are, which come in at around 5.5mm. If we just pick it up for a second, yep, the lack of bezels doesn't feel like it'll be an issue when holding and using the iPad. And if we slide it over, we can take a side-by-side look at the 10.5-inch iPad Pro next to last year's 9.7-inch Pro. As you can see, the new iPad is slightly taller, coming in at 250.6mm in length versus the 9.7 inches 240mm length. But thanks to those smaller bezels, the screen-to-body ratio is now 78.3% versus the 9.7 inches 71.6%. If I place the 9.7-inch on top, you can see that it's also 4.6mm wider, but stays the same thickness. Also inside the new 10.5-inch iPad Pro is Apple's faster A10X Fusion chip and a slightly larger 30.4 watt-hour battery compared to last year's 27.9 watt-hour battery. That, combined with the Pro Motion technology, which adjusts the screen's refresh rates, should mean, and I do mean should, an improved battery performance. Also, the front-facing camera on the 10.5-inch is now a 7MP over last year's 5MP camera, so FaceTime calls will be crispier than ever, or at least on par with the iPhone 7. The 10.5-inch iPad Pro is on sale now, starting at $649 for the 64GB Wi-Fi version, going all the way up to $1,079 for the 512GB Wi-Fi and cellular model. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, go ahead and hit that like button down below. And don't forget to hit subscribe, as we'll have comparisons, reviews and much more right here on Cult of Mac.